Hello friends, welcome to Perth. Perth is an amazing place. It's absolutely beautiful. This is winter. This is the middle of it. It's 14 degrees, which for Perth is absolutely freezing. And nobody knows what to do with themselves. But we still got blue skies. It's a pretty place. The suburbs are not very pretty. The beaches are incredible. There's hills and forests the other way, which are also incredible if you've got a bike that does what it needs to do to get through them, which this guy can, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I thought I'd just say hello and tell you a little bit about myself. I've been living in Perth for about 5 years. I moved here from London and I moved there from Johannesburg via the US, the good old Midwest. I lived in Minnesota for a few years. And Perth is, in my opinion, on a motorcycle, the most dangerous place to drive that I've ever lived in. Yep, even Johannesburg. Johannesburg's predictable, right? People drive too fast, the cars are overloaded, but you can kind of predict what everyone's doing in Johannesburg. Everyone is trying to get there faster than you. That's a simple rule of thumb. What's that guy trying to do? He's trying to get in front of me. Perth is unpredictable, and that's why I think it's so dangerous. But I'm still alive. No one's killed me yet. I ride my bike every single day and absolutely love it. When I'm not on it commuting to work, I'm up in the hills, riding dirt tracks, exploring, often by myself, but whenever I can help it, with a bunch of great mates who love doing the same stuff. And that's me. I'm going to try and make a few of these videos to kind of introduce myself, or not really introduce myself, I've done that now, but to show you around Perth and maybe get a little philosophical at times, which might be complete garbage. You're free to tell me that. But also just kind of show you the world through my eyes, as it would be. Through my camera, through the lens of my Sony FDR X3000, which is a phenomenal camera. That's where we're going. So, the bike. I absolutely love this bike. It's a 2013 KTM 1190 Adventure. It's not the R model, it's the standard model. Pretty much everything that's been done on it has been to make it a bit better for off-roading. So it's kind of a halfway between an S and an R and an S, whichever way you want to take that. It's like an O model. Okay, I'll stop with the stupidity. Get ahead here. That guy's going to try and cut me off for no reason, but that'll make sense in Perth. Okay, so I bought this bike after having a Harley Davidson. I had a Sportster, which suffered through the cafe racer phase of my life, and got stripped down. And I loved, I think, because I had put so much work into it and money. But I ended up having a discussion with a mate of mine who has a beautiful Triumph Thruxton, and we were kind of having a chat about these bikes and what we did with them and how often we used them and when we went out. And we got to chatting about dual sport bikes. got hooked on Everride's channel. If you've not seen Everride's channel, check it out. It is absolutely awesome. The guy's an absolute legend. And got looking at bikes. So he's riding a KLR 650 at the time, and he was chatting about that. And in one of his videos, he did a review with a mate of his who was riding an 1190. And I kind of got sucked into all the amazing stuff they had to say about this bike. How incredibly capable it was off-road, how good it was on the road, how fast it was, how much power it has, how much torque it has. So I went looking, and we had this big debate at the time, myself and my mate with the Thruxton. Do we give up the bike we've got? So for me that was a Harley, for him it was a Thruxton, and buy the best adventure machine there is? Or do we keep those bikes and spend as little money as possible on a dual sport? And we kind of went opposite ways. I sold the Harley and bought this. He kept the Thruxton and bought himself a 650 V-Strom. And I'll tell you what, for both of us, for him too, he's probably ridden his V-Strom more than he's ridden his Triumph over the last year. And I would not go back to my Sportster for anything in the world. But I absolutely love this bike. And then I've done heaps of stuff to it, but I think I'll do another video at some point and just kind of break down some of the bits and pieces. I've got some new bits and pieces coming. I have a quick shifter coming for it, and I have new throttle bodies from Rottweiler Performance on the way. So I might do an install video of those. And we have been off-road a lot. The hills, you can't see from here, the hills are beautiful in Perth. There's big Jarrah forests. And heaps of fun to ride in. This is kind of it. Perth is next to a river. This is the Swan River. Everything kind of happens. The river is not far from the sea, so that the beach is behind us. Everyone's slowing down for no reason. And that's kind of me and the story of how I got this bike. I went and test rode a few bikes actually in the lead up to this one. I rode an 1190. I also rode a F1200 GS. I think it might have been the Adventure, I can't remember, and an F800 GS, both the BMWs. And I didn't like either of those. I actually liked the 800 more than I liked the 1200. It just felt like a nice bike. The GS 1200 has its place, right? It started this whole thing, the whole adventure riding thing, and it is a beautifully made bike. It's almost too perfect. You'd be terrified to drop the thing. And I've ridden with a lot of guys who are terrified to drop the things because it just looks expensive if you do. Whereas the 800 was great, I really enjoyed it. But having said that, I did a ride with a mate who had an 800, and we kind of swapped bikes for a little bit on the dirt because he was sort of cruising over the 1190. And it didn't kind of bring back those same feelings when I was off-road. I actually couldn't wait to get my bike back off of him because he was, yeah, it just, the ergos were all wrong, so I'll give it that. It wasn't set up for me, but it just didn't feel great. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. I've dropped it a bunch of times. One time it really hurt me, broke my foot pretty badly. I think that video is in there somewhere of me coming off and yelling and screaming with a broken foot. But I've dropped it heaps of times on trails and stuff, and it's got all the crash protection on, it's got everything it needs. I had another accident where I came around a bend up in the hills and hit a kangaroo at about 90 kilometers an hour, and that trashed the side of the bike. That's all been fixed, the insurance covered all of that. And it just keeps on trucking. that's it for me. I'm about to pull into the city. That's a little bit about me. I would love to hear from you guys. If there's stuff that you'd like to see, let me know. If there's stuff about the bike that you'd like me to talk about, let me know. I'm happy to do that. This dude's going to pull straight on in front of me. He's looked in his mirror, he's seen me, and he is pulling into my following distance. You just never get that. He won't get out of my way now. He'll just sit there with his dumb looking dog. No man should own a poodle, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if you're a poodle lover, but it's not a real dog. Right, that's it, Perth City, in the sunshine, the winter sunshine. I am signing out. This is 11-9 Adventures. You boys and girls have an awesome day, and I will chat to you soon.